It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go! Thursday show, February 29, 2024. Ermanni and Edwards with Mass. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com, or the Fox local app if you are watching live. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Like the show. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend. Wearing the colors today. I love it. Big game tonight.
Look, man, you know you've always heard me talk about being a Red Wings fan. Growing up a Red Wings fan, I am a diehard. I just saw D-Mac in the chair, and they're going for 7 in a row tonight, man. The Red Wings are playing playoff hockey, 7 in a row. As my good friend Tom Mazaway, who we introduced, told me, it's the first time since 2012 I'm rocking the Red Wings gear. Tom Mazaway.
Let's go, baby. They play the Islanders tonight. Should be a good one. Wish I could go.
You gotta be sick to your stomach.
team.
You can't go.
I'll be, man.
You gotta be
Islanders are
sick
your
to your
favorite team.
stomach.
Islanders were back in the day, man. But I'll be watching for the bowling alley tonight.
What's happening in the bowling situation, Maz, if I can ask?
You were hot for a minute.
We're bowling good right now.
Okay.
We're second place. We're like 3 out of first. Got some time to go yet. It ends the week before the draft, so we got to hang in there and knock some more teams off.
Now, do you hope to get that mystery ball tonight?
I need a mystery game because my envelope of money is really coming low.
It's getting thin.
Yep.
You got an envelope that you play
I have
with?
an envelope of my bowling money. Anything that I win at bowling, I put in an envelope.
Right.
And I pay my weekly dues and get in the pots.
That's the way to do
That's
it.
how I
At the
do
end
it.
of the season, whatever's left, this means you won your bonus. That's
Exactly.
your bonus. Okay.
Exactly.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm losing money, but I'm having fun.
We got to have a mystery ball tonight.
We got
I
it.
think.
You need 2 mystery games tonight.
Hell, we do.
Mystery games.
You need the big
and
one?
a strike ball. And a strike ball. Need a strike ball. My buddy won. My buddy
so
won
surface
1,800 last week.
Get out of here.
1,800.
Did he peel off anything
No,
for
he
you?
didn't.
No. 2 weeks ago, a guy won $3,700.
This is bowling?
$3,700.
This bowling. Look,
Cash,
Ryan's
man.
about to get a bowling
Cash.
ball now.
Peeled off cash.
Really?
Because
Yes.
money goes back. Like
It's-
it's just like any other get bet. If no one hits, if no one, that money starts stacking. It keeps going. It keeps on, and the booty, as they call it in betting, gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then somebody finally hits.
To get your name called a couple of
Yeah.
times to throw a strike ball and you do it, that's good.
Yeah.
Forgive my ignorance on the topic. Could you, like, if you were a good player, let's say like Larry Foote Sr. is a good player.
Yes.
Could you make a living
Yes.
off this?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are guys that do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of them.
Now,
Lots of
follow up to
You're
that.
bowling 7 days a week.
Follow up to
Exactly.
that. Do you let that guy in your league then?
Well, yeah, you still let him in.
But he has a handicap too, so
Okay,
and
okay.
so it's and then based on how everyone knows this guy is or this girl is, you can't come in and try to BS your handicap just so
Hey,
you start making money because
There's
people know.
a guy named Jim in the league. I won't give his last name.
What's up, Jim?
He probably spends $1,500 a week on trying to win the strike ball.
Is it
Tickets
that,
are $5 each.
And
Think
this-
how many tickets that he has in his pocket.
So what's the strike ball worth?
It's
1,500.
worth $500 for the first strike, $1,000 for the second.
Oh my god!
If you don't get 2, you don't get any. You could quit after the first one and take $500. Then we draw another one.
Oh, my
There's usually
gosh.
like 18 grand you're bowling for. So
Really?
it's 18 pots. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and it goes up.
Look at Ryan. That arm is itching.
Man, all the play.
Yeah.
All the playing I used to do in my life, I never knew this about bowling.
See that?
Much
You know.
friendlier way.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
My goodness.
And drinks are very cheap at the bowling alley.
Yeah.
That's like one of the last American places you can
Good
go and
food,
get.
too.
You can get sauce for all of $18.
Now, can we come watch a bowl one day or
Yeah, of
no?
course. I don't know why you would want to, but
I
yeah,
don't
sure.
know.
Just to hang out with Matt.
Well, I feel like that'd be like a little bit of a cooler effect if we did come because you'd be so concerned with probably wanting us to have a
Entertaining
good
you
time,
guys.
entertaining
Yeah.
us.
You would screw me up.
It would take your focus off
does.
Your teammates
My
wouldn't want
teammates
that.
would keep looking back at you. and
I
say, what
think
the hell are these
Ryan
guys doing?
Ermanni would be goofy. Is I don't know
He
what
would.
he would mess with you. He would crack all the jokes. And
Yeah,
now
I
your
will
mind
say this:
isn't right.
when there's money involved, I ain't
Oh, you
messing
stay
with
tight.
you. I ain't messing with you.
Okay.
No doubt. Guys, it is leap year today. Every 4 years it happens, just like the elections. It happens every 4 years.
This is true.
There was somebody that turned 100 today, a centenarian or whatever you call it. It was a lady turned 100, but she was really turning 25.
25. Yeah.
You know, I thought that was funny, but for anybody that's got a birthday on February 29th, when do you celebrate your birthday? You guys have a couple of birthdays in February.
Yeah.
His friend is born on the 29th.
Jeff Martin's the 28th, but we act like it's the 29th, and then he's either it's the 28th or the 1st. If your birthday is the 29th, you can celebrate on any other day. It has to be the 28th or the 1st. But then I guess at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter if your birthday doesn't have a date.
Right. I know.
Could you celebrate it in summer?
I mean, I guess you could celebrate it whenever you want, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I heard a bunch of facts today. I'm listening to the 60s on 6.
Yeah.
The whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And Flash Phelps, my favorite DJ, gives all the stats.
Sure, give me the stats.
He gave
Stats.
there's a reason you can't skip leap year.
Yeah, do you know why?
You cannot skip it
I'll tell you why.
because the sun doesn't get around the earth for 365 days, 5 hours, and like 28 minutes.
6 hours and 8 minutes.
Yeah. Explain it to us.
And that's 6 hours and 8. It's
adds up to a
365
full
days
day.
in 6 hours and 8 minutes or something like that. And if you add those 6 hours up, like after 100 years, Christmas would be in July,
Yeah.
essentially. Or like Christmas would always be in December, but the seasons would change. Summer would be like in November.
Wow.
So that's why you
I
have
still
to
don't get it.
continue the leap year.
I cannot get it.
Because the Earth is turning, Tom Massaway.
I understand that.
It doesn't turn perfectly. It turns
I
when
just
it finishes.
can't. I'm sorry.
You know who came up with leap year,
I
don't
can't
you?
do it. Who?
Ben Franklin.
Ben
Franklin came up with daylight savings.
I'm joking, man. I was trying to see if you was on your stuff. Trying to see if you was on your stuff.
By the way, Julius Caesar introduced the first calendar leap year in 46 BC. That's before Christ.
The Greek calendar.
Leap year babies are
Stolen
called
from the mind.
leapers or leaplings.
Leaplings.
February 29th has traditionally been a day in which women were allowed to propose to men.
Ooh.
How about that?
Once only 4
Pete,
years.
there you go.
I
There
bet
you
that
go,
changed.
Pete.
Yeah, that's all I
Absolutely. Some cultures consider February 29th an unlucky day.
Oh.
And February 29th is not really a legal day. It's not considered.
Do they have no laws for that
Why did you
particular
pick
day?
February?
For a that's another question. Now I don't have the answer to that.
Then why are we not on vacation?
Well, that's a good question. You know, companies don't pay you for the extra day
Yeah, this is right.
unless you're an hourly worker.
You want to go on? You want to do your list here? Or you want to do it another time? I don't
No,
want to
do it
railroad
another
the show.
time. No, let's do it another time.
Oh, okay.
Just in case we lose the leap year people, maybe they want a little bit of sports. Let me give you the sports today.
We got sports on
Let me
leap
give you
day.
the
Leap day.
sports. I'm telling you.
got leap day
You know,
sports.
it's so funny because today I'm just watching television, okay? I'm sitting in my office at Fox 2. It's about noon.
Okay.
And flipping around to the sports networks. ESPN has Sports Center from the NFL Combine. Flip over to Colin. He's talking about the NBA. What do I stay on? NFL Combine.
Combine.
I couldn't care less
About the
about
NBA.
LeBron James coming back from a 21-point deficit last night in LA against the Clippers in the fourth quarter. It's great and everything like that, but I could not drum up any interest for it.
Right.
I can't drum up any interest for the NBA, and I go back to this. I think, Braylon, your team has to be good within a league. Now, the NFL, not so much, because we are an NFL society.
Right, and the Lions weren't good for a very long time.
Right. But when the Red Wings are good, you watch hockey a little bit more.
Yeah.
When the Tigers are good, you watch baseball a little bit more. When the Pistons are good, you watch basketball a little bit more. If your team is terrible, like I don't think I watched one hockey game in the last 7 years. You know, outside of maybe a couple of Stanley Cup final games and a couple of playoff games. But you wouldn't catch me dead watching a regular season hockey game that didn't involve the Red Wings. And even some that involved the Detroit Red Wings that
Right.
wouldn't be watching that
Yeah, I
in years
agree.
past.
If it's the Detroit Tigers, the Tigers have to be good for me to want to sit down and watch games. I'll still go to Comerica Park. It's still fun to always go to the game, get there about the second, leave at about the fifth, sixth. Man, as you know me, I'm not even staying the whole game. The Red Wings love to watch them on the ice when they're winning. They're back winning. It's been a very long time. I spent a lot of time invested, so I'm able to do that. The Detroit Pistons, it's the same exact thing. Like, we spent a lot of years invested money, dollars going for the support of the squad. And it hasn't given us the same back in the last couple of years. So I'm with you there. As it relates to these other analytical networks, as it relates to ESPN, as it relates to Fox, the narratives are the same. It doesn't matter if the Red Wings are good. It doesn't matter if the Tigers are good. It doesn't matter if basketball or hockey. It's the same narrative. It's going to be something about LeBron James. It's going to be something about the foreign players. It's going to be something about Mr. Number One, who's Victor Wembanyama. It's going to be something about what has Kyrie done lately. Can Luka close games?
Right.
It's the same narratives. What is Steph Curry going to do? Is Klay Thompson leaving to go to L.A.? I just came up
Can
with that.
Doc Rivers get it done?
I just came up with that off the top, and I haven't watched them at all in 3 weeks.
Right.
It's the same stuff. So I think it doesn't matter if our teams are good or not. Those particular outlets, they're same narratives. And if they weren't at the NFL draft, Colin will be talking about it. Keeping Justin Fields. Is Jim Harbaugh going to change Justin Herbert? They're the same conversations day in, day out. People get tired of them.
If I'm not watching a miniseries or a show on HBO or Netflix, I got MLB Network on because I just love seeing baseball. I won't put a hockey game on unless the Red Wings are in it, or if it's late in the season and a team needs points to get in the playoffs. NBA, I'm not putting on unless Steph Curry's on the game. Pistons, I'll put on just to see what the score is. Usually they're losing, so I turn that off.
But
Playoffs.
isn't it funny when you turn in, man, not to cut you off, isn't
Yeah.
it funny whenever you turn to the Pistons, they're never more than 5 down.
Yeah.
And until it's the end
Until
of the
the
game.
fourth quarter.
They're never more
Right.
than 5 down. So
They're a three-quarter team.
The Pistons are a tricky team to turn into. You'll turn in first quarter, they'll be winning. Second
Right.
quarter down by 2. Third quarter down by 5. Then they lose by 20.
I'd rather just watch something that I've watched already.
Yeah.
You know what I got hooked on again? I put on CNBC one day. I don't know why I did.
dangerous.
I got stuck on Shark Tank
Shark
again.
Tank's great.
So Shark Tank is
put it
on.
on, yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
changed the channel. So when I put the TV on, Shark Tank is on. If it's a good thing, I watch it, and then I'll flip on when Kathy comes in. We'll watch our show. If not, I'll flip on Better Call Saul when that's done. I'm always going to an older show. I will peruse to see what sports are on, but if nothing hooks me, I'm just putting a baseball game on and chilling out.
I
Yeah.
have two, go
Good,
ahead.
no,
I was
please.
going to give you guys some recommendations that are not sports. 2 things on Netflix right now you want to watch. One is Haysom versus Soren. It's a story about, I can't remember her name. Haysom is the girl's name. Soren is the boyfriend, Yin Soren. UVA, remember they killed their parents, or her parents, brutally in 1985, and then they both blamed each other. Well, it's the 4-decade-long case that finally just ended. And then the other thing was, forgive me again, it's another murder doc.
You love those murders. My
I-
wife refuses to watch any
I
murders.
do because I like to watch the investigative behind it. I love forensic science. I love how it plays into it. And the other one is the Octopus murders, which happened in 1989. And it was about a journalist that had unlocked something that could connect so many deaths and murders and things around politics and the NSA. And this is before the NSA really started.
Let me know when Son of Sam comes back on.
That's a really
I
good
will.
one.
I will.
You know, one of the reasons why I brought this up in the first place is because when you're trying to put a show in this time together, when you're trying to put a show together this time of year,
Yeah.
like what are people interested in? Because it really is a tough. I feel like it's a little bit of a tough sell.
Yeah.
And the only thing, and I think the NFL gets full credit for this.
Yeah.
The way that they have adopted their calendar. It is once the Super Bowl ends, it is a couple of weeks NFL Combine, a couple of weeks free agency, a couple of weeks draft, a couple of weeks
Minicamp.
rookie minicamp, a couple of weeks OTAs,
Yeah.
a couple of and it's the entire season.
Yeah.
Then you look up
And
the seasons here.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You're shocked.
We have been completely
Bamboozled.
well, we are completely now, and I think it's happened really over the last decade, over the last 10 years specifically, I think, where we are an all NFL society. Maybe even longer than that.
Yeah.
But as far as what people care about in this country, it is NFL, NFL, and then I can't even put another sport in that same category with the NFL.
Not even close.
Tell me I'm wrong about this. I mean, you just said it, and I just thought about why you said it. Everyone's calendar. You just talk about the Greek calendar and when it was adopted. Everyone's calendar now revolves around the NFL. Like, when are you doing weddings? When it's not NFL season. During NFL season, I can't do this because of this game. During college season, I can't do this because of that. I can't do this this Monday because this is national championship. And I kind of want to sit around and see what happens at the draft if you're really locked into that. So you're going to be around this time. Everyone's calendar, it seems, is inadvertently synced up to the NFL calendar, which is exactly what you just said, Ryan.
I'm not interested in the combine. I haven't watched a minute of it.
Well,
OTAs, rookie camp, mini camp,
that's
training
fine.
camp.
I'm looking forward to March 13th, free agency. March 11th, 12th, they talk about it. 13th, you could sign people. That's what my goal is.
Here's why I am interested in the combine. It's because everybody's there. Right.
So now, who are we going to draft?
Exactly. Well, you've got who are we going to draft? Which players are moving up? Which players are moving down? You can get a guy that Lions are picking 29. You know the high-end guys, but you start watching this combine a little bit, you're like, oh, yeah, I remember that
Some
guy.
guys are
This
like
guy.
25,
Right.
they're like 50.
And then you've got all the trade talk. I mean, the Justin Fields trade talk, which is out there that we talk about all the time right now. And then today what happened with...
I got a guy for you that the Lions should make a trade for.
Oh, I'd love to hear that.
I'm just teasing.
Okay,
now.
that's a tease.
Who'd you have in mind?
But then you hear today what Dan Orlovsky had to say. Did you hear what Dan Orlovsky said
did,
today? I
Caleb
want to play it for you, and it's I've got a thought on it. Here's what Dan Orlovsky said today.
Hang on. I'm grabbing it. I lost it. It's down here. I have it. Hang on, boys. I have it.
Very good. Very good.
I have it. Here we go.
It's fine.
I know.
We're getting there.
Hang on. I have all your.
Just hush until it comes on, Pete.
Oh, God.
Just hush until it comes on.
Jesus, help me.
Hush till you have it.
Please.
Just hush till you
Please
have
help
it.
me. Please. We went
It's always
over
the
all
first
of
one.
this.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's always the
Did-
first
did
one.
you-
You think it's that simple? I have not thought that Caleb Williams was a.
The sound. The sound. I didn't want the.
He has the
sheet
sound
yet.
under it.
Oh, okay. Okay, go ahead, please. Okay,
Number
here.
one, because I thought Drake May would be the guy. I was wrong in that. Jaden Daniels should be the guy. If I were the Chicago Bears right now, I would take Jaden Daniels out of LSU. That is not a knock on Caleb Williams. That is a plus in Jaden Daniels. I think, number one, when you watch all these guys play, the best thrower, the best guy against man coverage, ball placement-wise, is Jaden Daniels. Number two, when we're talking about explosive play, like guys who have to throw the ball downfield, what does it look like? Jaden Daniels throws the ball best downfield. And then number three, who's got the best pocket piece? When I say piece, it's P-E-A-C-E. All these guys are athletic. It's no longer like this plus. Every one of these guys has that attribute. The patience and the peace within the pocket, he's the best at. Candidly, I think when it comes to what guy had the best game, none of these guys' games compared to Jaden Daniels against Florida. If you just watch that player versus the University of Florida, you would go, that's the best player in college football, and he's going to be the guy that transfers the best into the NFL. Caleb Williams is fantastic. I think Jaden Daniels is better.
You know, I just looked back at this.
Okay, so that is Dan Orlovsky saying, I would take Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams, number one. Wouldn't it be the most Chicago Bears thing in the world to do after you draft Mitchell Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes and you pass up C.J. Stroud, who's looked like, forget about the offensive rookie of the year, could have been MVP of the league last year.
Very true.
Wouldn't it be something if you take Caleb and Jaden Daniels becomes the next Patrick
Amazing.
Mahomes, right? But just to add to Orlovsky's point, so I heard this and I went back and I looked at Caleb Williams' stats.
You look good with these stats.
Let me give you the stats here. This is Caleb Williams,
What about those stats, Pete?
year by year. Now, is that, Pete, is that going to be audio? Is,
The audio, yeah.
so, okay.
But I'll lower the audio.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, just make it on silent, please. Okay. So I went through Caleb Williams game by game versus ranked opponents for the last 3 years. And look at some of these numbers, guys, and take the wins and losses out of it. Oh, even if you want to take the wins and losses out of it because he's never played with a defense. Look at his numbers. There was one game in there that he performed very well. It was 2022. It was a 43-42 loss to Utah. He had 5 touchdown passes. Every other game. In 2023, 3 interceptions. Fumble. 2022, INT, fumble. 2021, 2 fumbles, fumble. He does not play well in big games. And that evidence right here would scare the living daylights out of me if I was taking Caleb Williams with the number 1 overall pick if Jaden Daniels is sitting right there. I'm not saying don't take him at 3 or even 2, maybe. But if you're the Chicago Bears, and this is in Carolina, okay, you've got Justin Fields.
This is true.
And you've got Jaden Daniels.
And you got something cooking.
That's why this is important. If this is last year and Carolina is on the clock and they have no quarterback, they have a first-year head coach, they have nothing in the tank, they look and they say, look, this Caleb guy, we got to take him. We got to take a shot on him. But if you're taking this player over Justin Fields, I would be very concerned about that.
You know, Ryan, you're very annoying because you have this way of beating a point, pause, and until eventually I have to start taking a look at why might there be some validity to what Ryan has been saying for the better part of a year or 8 months or 9 months. And then I was actually coming in today to talk about this concept and tell you why there might be some truth to your reservations on Caleb Williams. But then you broke it down with all the film and all the video footage and all the not. You're absolutely correct. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter about players that you have on your side. It doesn't matter about the defense and how good they were in the coach. What it matters about is if you're supposed to be this highly touted player, regardless of the situation, you should look like that highly touted player at all times. Look, you may have a stumble here or there. You may have a bad game here or there. We all have them. But overall, you should look head and shoulders above everyone else if they're calling you this generational talent. And the things that you point out, they call that into question. He hasn't always been there. He can't beat Utah 2 years in a row. Even when they had Jordan Addison, even when they were a really good team 2 years ago, they got beat by Utah twice that year. They lose to Utah again. In the games they played ranked opponents this year, they were horrible, god awful. And you can even argue that if the wide receiver from Colorado hadn't gotten hurt, he would have
what's his name? I know you're talking about it.
You could argue they would have lost to Colorado,
right,
who won a total of 4 games last year. So when you look at it like that, and listen, I've disagreed with him. I've disagreed with this man from jump. But your argument, your conversation, it brings some validity when you're at the numbers, and then you really take a deep dive into what Caleb Williams has been in the big game, in the big moment. Travis Hunter, 100%. He has not necessarily looked like the guy that you should take one. Meanwhile, Jaden Daniels, the couple times we saw him, even in big games that they lost, I mean, heck, look at the beginning of the season, the Florida State game. He shows you how good he was in that game in a loss to a better team. So, Ryan, you and Merrill Hodge, man, you might be on to something.
I don't know if I want to be the Chicago Bears right now. It's like doing a fantasy football draft, and your buddies are all in there, and you're like,
I'd rather be them than the 2020
I don't want to be the number 1 guy. I want to pick 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or even 5th.
Where you don't have to make the decision.
Exactly. I don't want to make
this decision. It's a loser's
decision.
mentality.
I wouldn't want to be 2. I wouldn't want to be the second. Hey, Matt, I wouldn't want to be the second team looking for the quarterback.
Unless
Maybe
there's
the
a guy
third
that
one.
I'm totally in love with, I don't want to pick first. If I'm picking a baseball draft, if Shohei Ohtani's there last year, he's the number 1 good pick. But would you take him this year? I don't know. He can't pitch. He can only hit. So these are the things that you're looking at, man. And I know I'm dumbing it down to a fantasy draft here, but that's a tough call, man. When you have a guy, when a lot of people love this Jaden Daniels kid, he won the Heisman, and you got guys that love Caleb Williams, thinks he's a generational talent, but then you got your naysayers, guys that do know the position, and they're talking about it, that he's so-so. I don't know if I'd want to take him.
I don't want to base the majority of my conversation on Caleb Williams as it relates to trusting that he is going to be the guy. Look, I stand firm on thinking that he's going to be legit in the NFL. However, I am coming around to the point that maybe he's not going to be as good as we think. Maybe it's not a slam dunk. That's where I'm coming around to you, Ryan Ermanni. But I value Joel Klett's opinion on quarterbacks. Not everything, but he's so detailed. He does his homework, whether he's talking about Michigan, whether he's talking about Ohio State, Alabama, coaches, whether he's talking about players. He does his homework. And for him to be a former quarterback, and I haven't seen Joel Klett wrong about a lot. Haven't seen him wrong about it. He's so determined that Caleb Williams is that much better, that much elite. When you see something like that, and there's only a couple people, validated people like Merrill Hodge, but it's only a couple people that are going against the grain. That gives me cause to still think, you know what? I still think he's going to be the guy, but I understand that this question marks, they're valid too.
Greg Patterson in the chat brings up a great point here, and even though he's pushing back against me, I totally will accept it. He says you can find any stats that will support any argument, and I fully agree with that. I totally agree with you on that. And to add to that, you can find any analyst to agree with what your preconceived notion is about something as well.
Once you find him, you won't get off him.
Exactly. I mean, if you believe that Caleb Williams is going to be the next Patrick Mahomes, you are going to go to Joel Klatt's evaluation.
Good call.
If you believe that Caleb Williams isn't going to be that good in the NFL, if you think he's going to be a bust perhaps in the NFL, you're going to find Merrill Hodges' evaluation or me. I wouldn't put myself.
You've done your stats.
I wouldn't put myself in that class because I'm just an eyeball guy.
Gotcha.
Well, Dan Orlovsky.
Or Dan Orlovsky. You've got these guys that there's so many different people evaluating every aspect of these players, from the way they walk into an office, the way they walk into a building, to the breakdown of a game film. So you're going to have a stat that you can find, that you can make any judgment you want, pro or con, and you can find any analyst, much like a political opinion,
a running mate, a candidate,
a candidate or whatever. You're going to find a news channel that supports the way you feel about that particular candidate. In the NFL, in the combine, you are going to find an analyst to feel the same way you feel.
You'll find a mock draft that you like.
Absolutely. About what do I keep saying about J.J. McCarthy? Right?
Yeah.
I was the first person to really say, I think I was the first person to really say, feel free to call me out if you disagree with it, that I thought that J.J. McCarthy would be the best quarterback in this class. I said I would take him number one if I was on the clock. When Jim Harbaugh came out and said that J.J. McCarthy...
This was 7 months after the first time you ever said it.
That J.J. McCarthy, don't be surprised if he's the best quarterback in this class, and he continues to move up this. That kind of took a little bit of a... made the rounds and it got some steam. Yeah. I think... again, so I held on to that. We can kind of make up anything we want, and there's going to be validation for that.
And neither of us are right now.
Nobody.
Nope.
I'm not going to be right.
It's not going to be right for years.
I'm not going to be right, and you're not going to be right.
For years.
At all.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this thing great. That's what makes this thing great. So just wanted to put that out there. Speaking of Jim Harbaugh.
Okay.
Question for you. There are 18 Michigan players at the NFL Combine right now, Braylon. Most ever in the history of the NFL Combine. The I almost said the LA Clippers. The LA Chargers have 8 draft picks in this upcoming draft. 4 picks in the top 105. Then they've got a 5th-round pick, a 6th, and 2 7ths.
Yep.
How many Michigan players will the LA Chargers select in 8 picks?
Wow.
I want to go around the room and see what you think. There's 18 guys at the Combine. Chargers have 18. Most of the 18 players, by the way, are going to be taken within the first 5 rounds, I would say. Wouldn't you say?
That's a great. Look at this thing. Look. That's beautiful.
That is incredible.
JB, did you do that? That's nice.
I mean, most of those players are going in the first 4 rounds, probably. So
when we go to commercial, I want to take a picture in front of this is very good, JB. Jeez Louise. Right. This is the type of thing you hear.
Don't look at me. That's all the NFL.com. But, I mean, I just put it together. So.
Hey, man, you made this fit.
So, what do you guys think? How many Michigan players of the 18? And again, I think of the 18 players, probably 12 to 14 will go in the first 4 rounds.
Okay.
Wow.
So how many players will Jim Harbaugh select from Michigan?
We going to commercial before I figure that out?
313-552-6322. 313-552-6322. We'll do that.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
But
Studying.
first, a message from us here at Woodward Sports Network.
I got
Want to let you guys
covered over
know. Whoa,
Woodward
that's Braylon.
Sports has a new morning show. Start your day with Wake Up Woodward Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. live on Woodward Sports Network. It is my guy. Join Kool-Aid, Flannel Sam, Broder, JB, and KG every morning as they cover all of Detroit sports. Sports, talk, banter, the coolest people you know. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to watch this stuff. You know how good Matt Broder is. You know how detailed Flannel is. And then also Detroit Kool-Aid brings his own smooth style. This is going to be a great show. Wake up with the Woodward Show. Wake up Woodward.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for 2 things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Big Boy Seafood Fest is sailing in with a fresh catch of favorites. Dive into fish and chips, our new palm-crusted cod, perfectly fried clam shrimp platter, or a delicious fish sandwich. Try our new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to our popcorn shrimp, our all-new fried pickles, shrimp alfredo, or shrimp stir-fry. Experience all the sea has to offer every Friday night with our all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. Every day is a fish fry, only at Big Boy.
Hey gang, for over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest hotels, restaurants, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Just visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods. Grab-and-go steaks. If you can't make it in person, you can order online. They ship next day. LesStanford.com, or sorry.
Together.
Sorry. I've got my Les Stanford read up here, the Fairway read. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com. They ship next day. 313-552-6322. Jim Harbaugh and the LA Chargers have 8 picks. 4 in the top 105 of the draft. 18 players from Michigan are at the combine. How many players do you think Jim Harbaugh selects from Michigan? Let's go to the phone lines first and bring up Big Chef. Big Chef, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, I had it. I got the number.
What it do? What it do?
You,
Chef,
baby.
This isn't the first call from Big Chef.
Yo, what's up? Jalen, I love that sweater, baby. The red's popping. You're mad.
That. Appreciate that.
Listen, enough of the love affair with Jim Harbaugh. He's the ops now. We need to machine gun him. You kidding me? We can't be hoping he gets this one and that one. Yo, we got to beat this dude. Let's go, baby. Listen, it's all about eating. Lions do not read menus. We just eat. Let's go.
Let's go. I love it, Big Chef.
Absolutely right. Here's ops. He is not with us anymore. He is against us. But I just think in the question, it's going to be how many players from this draft, or from the University of Michigan Wolverines, will Jim Harbaugh draft? Look, we know he wants his guy very similar to Dan Campbell. He likes his type of guy. He likes the Michigan guy that's clean cut. It's going to come to work. It's going to buy into the team. It's going to give out and sell out everything. Ryan, you asked that question, and I got my number. And I actually got the guys that I wrote down, too. I think he drafts no less than 4.
Drafts 4?
Drafts 4. 100%. There's a lot of moving and shaking going on in the Los Angeles Chargers. Everybody's up. You're looking at Khalil Mack, who is the name that I'm going to bring up that the Detroit Lions should go after. You got to replace him. You look at a guy like Junior Colson. You need other wide receivers that are durable. You're probably going to get rid of Keenan Allen. Mike Williams is under contract, but he's always hurt as well. I look at a slot guy like Roman Wilson. That's 2. You need another running back because Austin Eckler won't be there after this year.
Eckler.
And there's where you put Blake Corum. Blake Corum fits this system. He fits that offense as well. That's 3 guys. Mike Sanders still is a guy that he's going after. Mike Sanders still will be the number 1 player that he's looking to get on his squad. You see what Mike Sanders still.
I want him here.
100%. I want him here as well. From DB to wide receiver, he made the plays that matter this year, last year when he was on offense and when he was on defense. That's the guy he's going after. And Chris Jenkins, a guy whose father I played with. With the New York Jets, damn good defensive lineman. Interior, they're going to have some moving shaking on the defensive line. I'm telling you, 4 guys. But I'll make you this promise, Ryan. All of those guys will either be Big Ten players or maybe Georgia, because that's what he's seen in his last 4 years.
Jim Harbaugh has such a benefit in this year's draft.
Pete Carroll.
Because absolutely.
Jimmy Johnson.
Absolutely, because he has seen all of these good players and probably recruited a few more.
Look at what those guys did.
That didn't play at Michigan.
100%. Maz, you've called this out. Ryan, you elaborated on it. Look what those guys did too. Pete Carroll, he comes from USC. 3 years later, he wins the Super Bowl. Jimmy Johnson comes from University of Miami to the Dallas Cowboys. 2 years later, he wins the Super Bowl. You have the advantage because you've been recruiting these guys to either come to school for the last 6-7 years.
Switzer too.
You've been playing at Barry Switzer. He leaves Oklahoma. He goes to the Cowboys. You've been recruiting to get these kids. You've been watching them blossom, or you've been trying to get them in a transfer portal for the benefit of the last 9 years. Ryan Ermanni, he has the edge on every head coach at every franchise in this draft, except maybe Brad Holmes.
Tom,
I'm going to say with the number 5 pick, he's not going to take a Michigan Wolverine. But I think he'll take Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles.
No, you know what I mean.
Bowers.
The tight end from Georgia. Brock Bowers.
And I said Georgia.
Yep. I bet you he's got his eye on Blake Corum as his next running back. How about Blake Corum as a San Diego LA Charger?
So that was going to be my guarantee.
Blake,
I guarantee you that with the 37th overall pick in round number 2 of this draft, the LA Chargers select Blake Corum. I guarantee you. I think they go offensive tackle, running back. Picks 1, pick 2. Offensive tackle, Joe Alt, somebody like that. And then number 2, Blake Corum. If you want Justin Herbert to succeed, you have to protect him and you have to have a running game. And with those first 2 picks, offensive tackle, running back, Blake Corum guaranteed will be the pick of the Chargers in round 2.
We're going to agree, but we're going to disagree at the same time. Put up that the Los Angeles Chargers picks per round, Pete, if you could. You said they had 8. Here it is. I love everyone that's ever played football at the University of Michigan. I love Blake Corum. I love him as a leader. I respect him. But my job is to do a show, is to point out what I see. Taking Blake Corum, 37, which is 5 picks outside of the first round, it's too high. You're talking about a guy that had a knee surgery coming into the season, had an ankle surgery coming into the season before that. He's a shorter running back. He's not as fast as he was 3 years ago. Remember, he was blazing up that sideline in 2021. Got a little less fast in 2022, had a knee injury, got a little less fast in 2023. I am not taking him that high. You look at a pick like that in 37, this is a guy that's coming in to change your franchise right now. This is a guy that's coming whether he's playing defensive back, wide receiver, offensive tackle, D lineman. 37 has got to be a guy that on game day he's starting. I think they go get him running back, but I definitely think with the 3rd pick, which is the 69th pick, which I really think Blake Corum will still be available. Ryan, it's also about looking at mileage. Like, if I'm an owner of a team or if I'm a head coach, I got to look at the miles. Look at how many yards he had in 2021. How many carries did it take him to accumulate those yards? Look at 2022. And then he came back for his 4th year, and got more miles, more carries on his body and on it. I can't draft him that high in 2nd. I got to think and I got to hope he's still going to be available at 69. But I agree, he is the guaranteed pick. I think he and Mike Sanders still are the guaranteed two.
I like Junior Colson, like you said, too.
I think he's going to get drafted as well. But I think it guarantees Mike Sanders still and Blake Corum 100%.
That is so great.
Yeah.
Where's Sanders still rated? Do we know?
Yeah, he moved from the third. He's already jumped up to high second.
He is. Matter of fact, I've got some sound from Mike Sanders still. Pete, if you got that. This is Pete. This is him at the NFL Combine talking about how Jim Harbaugh and Michigan got him ready for the NFL.
Coach Harbaugh made the promise while I was being recruited that when my time at Michigan is done, I'm going to be prepared for the next level. He kept that promise true, and that was through every experience on the field and off the field. And I think, everybody in the program, from the staff to the players, definitely helped me get prepared for this moment. And, time and time again, you hear it from people who have left the program that there's no other program that's going to help you get ready for the NFL like Michigan will.
You guys put up the Dan Campbell piece yesterday talking about, yesterday, the day before, and the day before, talking about the interview is the most important process. Tom Maswood, this is an impromptu interview.
Yep.
Even though this isn't the NFL coaches or the particular team and you're sitting in a room, Ryan, this is the interview process. How are you handling questions at the microphone? What are you talking about? And Ryan, this goes to when you talk about J.J. McCarthy. Basically, all 18 of those players that are coming from the University of Michigan, they're listening to him. They're listening to him talk about Coach Harbaugh, talking about his contemporaries, talking about how he made him better. He's talking about team. You can feel through that microphone he's the type of player that you want in your organization. If he fits, which most of those Michigan players will, this is the guy you want. This is a guy that can help you. And I think this is a guy, Jim Harbaugh, 100%. The other 31 coaches in this draft, they know what type of men Jim Harbaugh was coaching at the University of Michigan, how he cultivated them, what they would mean to those teams. All 18 of those guys are going to kill it in the interview process, at the microphone, and when they do their one-on-one with their head coaches.
The Lions really, too, we've seen they like taking players from
Big Ten,
big time universities too. I mean, we saw a couple of guys from Alabama, a couple of guys from Iowa, guys that play kind of a pro style type
Michigan,
of offense. And how about that now? That's what I'm going to go to. Forget about the Chargers for a second. How many Michigan players the Chargers are going to take? When you are Brad Holmes, when you're Dan Campbell, and you want to talk football guys, are there more football-ready guys than those 18 players from Michigan right now?
No. Yeah.
Don't you want at least one of those guys in your locker room? He's going to be ready. He was coached by a professional for the last 4 years or 3 years. They are prepared scheme-wise. They're smart kids. They love ball. I think the Lions might take 2 Michigan players in this draft.
And I got 2 for you. It's 2 of the players that we've already named. But to your point, before I name them, 100%, because they've been looking at Aiden Hutchinson for the better part of 2 years now. 3 seasons now. They've been watching Aiden Hutchinson, seeing how he's going to perform, see how he prepares, seeing how he's a team guy. The 2 guys I would look at is you still need another good wide receiver here with the Detroit Lions. Roman Wilson is a guy.
Rocketed up the charts.
Roman Wilson is a guy, and then also Chris Jenkins. Chris Jenkins is a guy. Aiden Hutchinson's from where? Down the street. Divine Child, Plymouth. Guess where Chris Jenkins is from? Down the street. Father went to Eastern Michigan. So you look at that situation, those 2 guys I think really fit the system here. And Junior Colson too. I just like Junior Colson a lot. Mike Barrett's another guy that could be a lower round pick, linebacker. So watch out. But you've hit the nail on the head. Look at all the Big Ten guys that Dan Campbell's gone after, or the big program guys that they've gone after. They looked at the head coach. They approve of Nick Saban. They approve of Jim Harbaugh. They approve of Kurt Ferentz. Craig Krenzel. National. I still can't believe they beat us that year. But anyway, Craig Krenzel, Utica, national champ.
Yeah, I remember that. And it seems like Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, they do fall in love with players from particular schools. Yeah, I mean, and even going back to getting Kirby Joseph a couple of years ago from Illinois in the
Big
same
Ten.
draft. I mean, you're talking about Michigan, Alabama, Illinois. Those are some of the schools that
they wanted Witherspoon last year.
Absolutely, Illinois,
USC.
That's right.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Absolutely. So they really do kind of highlight those pro-ready schools. So I think Michigan would certainly be on the list of players that Brad Holmes would like to choose from.
What pick are they in the second round again? I don't mean to throw this out at you.
61, I believe.
61. You
Yeah.
think Mikey Sanders still's there at 61?
I think Mikey Sanders still I see is the 12th rated defensive back on this
Okay.
list. So
he's there.
Even though they say he's pushing up to a
Right.
second round
Yeah.
pick, I think he's maybe even a third round pick. I mean, maybe, could he fall out of day 2? I don't know.
Also, speed kills. And once he runs to 40, there goes that 12, turns into a quick 7.
That's right. You know, there's no doubt about that. Tom Mazaway, I know you were really excited about this list yesterday, and that was the grades that the NFLPA players, NFLPA voted great, giving themselves grades on their own organizations.
This is how they do it, man. And they vote on the weight room, the cafeteria, the food, all of this. And the Lions, we'll put up the whole list, Pete. Lions come in 13th in the NFL right now. So they are in the 13, 26. Well, they're in the top half.
Top half
Of the NFL.
Just out of the top third.
Exactly.
You know.
And now let's put up their actual report card, Pete. We could put up the Lions report card on how they voted for either check that out, right?
Yeah, so treatment of families, B, food, C, nutritionist, dietitian, C+, locker room, B-, training room, B, training staff, B, weight room, B+, strength coaches, A-, team travel, B, head coach, A+, one of 3 head coaches in the NFL to get an A+ record. They love this guy. Ownership, B-, that ranks 21st in the league. I was a little surprised by that, and I don't know if that's because maybe she just really lets she's not like the Jerry Jones type. Maybe Sheila just kind of lets her people.
I'm surprised about that, too.
I was surprised about the B-. I thought it'd be a little bit higher than that. At least a B+. I don't know, but you'd be able to shed more light on that than me. I mean, you had Woody Johnson for an owner, and what was his
Randy Lerner, John Schneider, Randy Lerner, John Snyder.
I was thinking of.
Well, not John Snyder, but
I was thinking of Randy Lerner.
Okay,
though. Yeah.
Paul Allen.
Paul Allen.
I think the big thing with that, and this is before me even knowing anything, so forgive me if this is ignorant take, but I think it makes sense. She's a woman. And there's a lot of places she can't go. There's a lot of things that she can't necessarily participate in. And as a man, Woody Johnson could come to the locker room. He can kick it with the fellas. He can talk to us. We can see him. We see him in other places. You know, he's by himself, if you will. Sheila, she probably has people with her at all times, bigger guys or people around her. So even though she's around, maybe there's not that much in players' field access to her.
She can't make an unannounced trip to the locker room.
Exactly. And I think for guys, and whether, like, once again, this is just me making stuff up, but I think guys adhere to that. I think when your owner's coming there and he's having a good laugh or joking or he's talking about something outside of the realm of the Detroit Lions or football or the locker room, I think people add to that. So I think you see the Jerry Joneses or you see the owners that you see the Robert Krafts of the world. Those guys are around, but all around the place. I don't think Sheila had been sitting down playing cards with the fellas in the players' lounge. Meanwhile, the other men owners will do that. They'll sit down and play video games, just random conversation. I don't know if she's doing that, and it's not to her dismay. I mean, she can't to a certain extent.
She don't want to impose. That's
and
the way I
also,
look at it.
she wants to remain. She wants to keep that class and elegance that she has. She's a woman owner that can get her hands dirty when it relates to supporting her team, being up, showing up for the hard questions. But at the same time, it's not her job to run around the locker room and chase you for conversation on what video game you're playing now. So I think she's doing it the right way regardless.
I still think it's a high grade. I thought because
maybe a flat B would have been better.
Well, yeah, I think a flat B would have been better.
Minus is always like, why did it be minus?
And I think the reason I feel that is because she's a winning owner.
Yep. She's turned it around.
She's really given you everything you want other than, look, maybe part of this, too, is the food, nutrition, diet, and all that stuff.
That's the same thing. That should have been 2 different categories.
You know what I mean? Maybe they see that as a reflection of the owner. Maybe that's why they dock the owner.
Let me ask
I don't know. I'm just saying.
What's with the food? What is the differences in the food of the teams that you've been around?
1, more options. 2, different things. I think 3, input from the players from time to time. I think when I was in New York, like every day I ate lunch. Every day ate breakfast. Like, it was good. It was healthy. It was nutritious. It was good.
Is it like a buffet type thing?
It's a buffet. It's a buffet. You have your buffet salad. You have your what they're gonna cook today here with the lunches. You have your omelet bar in the morning. You have your scrambled eggs and whatnot.
That's fantastic.
In Cleveland, I was like, I go sometimes. Like, it wasn't inviting. The people working around there weren't nice.
Oh.
The food wasn't necessarily good. It wasn't necessarily honesty, and there was no input from the players. When I got to the Jets, like, each week, a player gets to choose a Friday. Like, a player that's player of the week on both sides. They get to choose the meal for Thursday and Friday. It was input from
Did your buddy say, hey, pick this, pick this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
You're
it's
negotiating.
It's a team. It's like, we're talking to each other. Because I want something good as well. When I would go, I think I chose P.F. Chang's once, and I chose, like, Ruth Chris another time. I'm like, y'all got money. You're going to pay some bread. But it was fun. It was a fun experience. Like, it made it cool to come to work. Let's be real. Nobody wants to go to work at 6:45 a.m. You're just waking up. You probably had a long night. You got to go to some facility whose food's not good. You know what I'm saying? The people feel like you're mad. They feel like they have to serve you. When you go around guys that are cool, food's good, it's input. You talking to Jose, I'm talking to Rita. These are people's names, real names from the Jets. It makes it fun to come to work at 6:45 in the morning. You forget that you're tired. You forget that here we are in December and we've been grinding at this. It starts your morning off right. Then it gets you into a good meeting. That's why food is so important, I believe.
I think one of the biggest storylines, and I'll give Dan Wood in the chat credit for this, even though I was going to bring it up next anyway, just the ultimate dichotomy of that is the Chiefs. Clark Hunt Jr. got an F-, worst owner in football. Not only an F, but an F-.
You jumped me, man. I was going to get to owners
Were the Chiefs. Well, we're just talking about owners.
Yeah.
So I want to stick with the owners. And you talk about Sheila being a woman. You got to talk about this guy. It doesn't matter if he's, it seems like he's a rich kid that has no connection to anything. No basis, no understanding. He's
got a beautiful wife and daughter, though.
I'm sure he does. But it feels like that. Here's this rich kid that had a team given to him, and he is not able to communicate with the players at all.
And they're winning Super Bowls still.
But that's an easy one, too. At the end of the day, he inherited a winning franchise from his father. Randy Lerner, he inherited a losing franchise from his father. So if you're already disinterested, you're losing franchise, you're going to do the same thing if you got the right or the same wrong things in place. When you are a child that got it from a father that's a winning organization, you got the right head coach in place, you have the right GM, all you got to do is give the money and stay away. And that's what both of them did. The only difference is the Chiefs were already winning, and their money, they had Patrick Mahomes.
It just goes to show you, too, and I think the Chiefs, is this the Chiefs? No, this isn't the Chiefs here. The Chiefs rank at the worst in the NFL or the absolute worst in the NFL in almost every single major category that we just talked about.
Sheesh.
You know who's worse, the worst?
Who?
Washington. We could put their grades up.
They're always the worst.
They are F's across the board.
Okay, but they just got a new owner. And I think this is not surprising under Daniel Snyder.
And FedEx has taken their name off the stadium for the last two deals. Last 2 years of the deal, FedEx has backed out. It's not going to be called FedEx Stadium anymore. They don't want their name.
This will change. This will change, I think.
Yeah.
But just going back to the Chiefs for a second, it just goes. I think that actually adds to Patrick Mahomes' greatness. That two people, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, could overcome so much crap within an organization.
And you don't hear about it.
If that is how bad the players view the championship players, multiple-time championship winners, 3-time Super Bowl winners, at least 2-time Super Bowl winners, many of them on the team, if that's how they view their current state of the franchise, I think that just raises the level of greatness of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, that those two men can kind of squash
overcome everything. I agree, Ryan Ermanni. You know what I believe it is? It's just speculation. They never pay anybody outside of Patrick Mahomes Travis Kelce.
What
the left
organization
guard,
used to do that? The New England Patriots.
New England Patriots.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
100%. Like, look, every time somebody gets good, and I understand there are true reasons why you have to say bye to people. Tyreek Hill had to get up out of there. They parted ways with Frank Clark, who has the most sacks in NFL playoff history. I repeat, the most sacks in NFL playoff. They parted ways with him. Parted ways with Matthew. Parted ways with Eric Berry. Parted ways with Sammy Watkins. They don't want to pay anybody. They keep it young. And I think the older players on the team, they see that. And they're like, regardless if we're winning, I mean, we're still asked to grade how we feel. Like, it doesn't matter if we're winning championships, it's how we feel and what we see. And I think that's a part of it as well. Like, it doesn't matter how well I perform here, I won't be taken care of unless I'm one of these three guys and three of them are the same color.
Well, if you had your choice of what team to go to, it would have to be the Miami Dolphins, who got the #1 grade of all of these in the NFLPA vote. So the Miami Dolphins, look at those scores.
A's across the board, which to me, actually, I found this a little bit surprising.
Yeah, especially
because
with the owner.
of all of the smoke that was around Stephen Ross for so many years.
And it's funny you say that. And I wonder, but what about that was bad for the players that were grading?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess I don't know. I would assume that it would be.
I would give A+ for trying to get Brady. I was like, what? He's really working hard.
Right.
But shocking. What school did he go to?
Right. But I don't think of the facilities at Miami being all that great or anything like that.
It's in Florida.
Yeah, that's true.
They keep improving the stadium.
Hard Rock is beautiful.
Yeah,
they
put
put a lot more money
it.
into it. Has a club live on the inside.
They've got a mist up there too, like for the
home team
cool.
side.
Yeah,
and then also
and for the fans.
they remodeled their franchise. Your guy Mike McDaniel is your favorite coach
I
in
love
the NFL. Everyone loves him. The players love him. They let their players be players. Like Tyreek Hill is very outspoken. And they say nothing to him, and people, I think they like that as well. So, I mean, you look at it from that standpoint. Plus, it's a Michigan guy that owns the team. Are we surprised that it's all A's? Shout out to Stephen Ross.
Oh, man. Shout out to Stephen Ross. There's no doubt about that.
They'd only go back to the old Dolphin uniforms. It would be perfect.
They are changing their uniforms this year, aren't they? Or no?
I don't think so,
No.
but that Dolphin that
Maybe
they got on there now, he's got to go.
What do you think the Lions are changing their uniforms?
I don't know what they're going to do.
But they are changing them.
I hope they just go back to the silver. Get rid of the gray. Just go to the silver. That's it. That's all material. You need.
I forgot which game we were. I think it was the Monday Night Football game I was at this year.
The Raiders
in October. Yeah, I think it was.
That was it.
The selection at the team store in Ford Field wasn't all that great.
No.
Their sizes and this like that. I said, "You guys getting anything in?" No, they stopped getting stuff in because
something coming.
Getting new uniforms next year. So, and we know that's happening, but I just don't know when that's happening. You got any more grades, Maz?
I do have Ari Meirov put out the best and worst. Here's the top 3 of the best and worst. You could read those. That's pretty cut and dry.
So the best were the Dolphins, the worst Commanders. And again, I give the Commanders a pass now because they have new ownership. So that was under the Daniel Snyder ownership team. Head coach Andy Reid, #1. Andy Reid, Dan Campbell, and I forgot the other coach got an A+.
Mike Tomlin?
Mike Tomlin.
He got an A at least. I know that.
Well, okay. This is the NFL coaches. DeMeco Ryans. There you go. A+.
Tomlin's not even on there.
I thought he got an A.
He got a C.
Yeah, that's right.
He did get an A.
There you go.
Oh, you did a different kind. Excuse me.
Good job.
Oh, okay, it's 2 of them.
And then Clark Hunt, willingness to invest in owners, #32 on the list. McDaniels, Rivera, those are McDaniels, Rivera, and Art Smith, the 3 lowest coaches, I think, on the grade. They all got fired.
Brian Daboll, A-. You hear a lot about him that he's not been too kind.
Sean McDermott in A. I'm surprised by that too because of the Stefan Diggs stuff, and then did he compare somebody to Hitler or something like that?
He did something stupid, but I think the reason why they love him so much is we talked about it. He had a choice, kind of like who won the Super Bowls with New York?
Parcells?
No. More recent.
Tom Coughlin.
Tom Coughlin.
Yeah.
Like right before they were about to fire him, they say, "Hey, you got a choice. You got to change. You got to lighten up." And this is the players that came to him. He lightened up. They won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Same thing happened with Sean McDermott. They told him, "Look, you got to lighten up, or
it's over."
And he lightened up, and the players like. So I think that's why he might got an A, is because he changed.
Mike McCarthy's up there.
People, they like him.
Yeah.
You know,
He's
they
a
like
player's
him.
coach.
Seems like a chill dude.
Right.
He does look like a happy, jolly guy.
He's just coached in two of the most critical teams. Like, people are going to be extra critical about the Green Bay Packers, and they're going to be most critical about Dallas Cowboys.
Guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking a little Tigers baseball with our good friend Dan Petry from Bally Sports Detroit. He's a Tigers analyst, of course, won the 1984 World Series with the Detroit Tigers. We'll talk to Peaches next. Tigers baseball, but first a message from Big Boy.
All right, fellas, Big Boy, the Seafood Fest is back. Catch it while you can. Dive into the fish and chips, their new Parmesan-crusted cod, the perfectly fried clam strip platter, or delicious fish sandwich. And a Big Boy must-try, it's the new mango iced tea. It goes perfectly, the ultimate compliment for their popcorn shrimp, the shrimp Alfredo, or the shrimp stir fry. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy. Don't forget, every Friday night, that is tomorrow, the all-you-can-eat seafood buffet at your local Big Boy.
And after you go to Big Boy, you can head over and meet Big D Energy at the Michigan Green Industry Association event with Alta Equipment. Neil Rule and Darren McCarty are going to be live on Tuesday, March 5th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Suburban Collection Showplace in Novi. And Alta features the latest products, technology, and services from exhibitors. They have everything for your home, lawn, garden equipment, including chemicals, hardscapes, irrigation, and water features. The Michigan Green Industry Association event with Alta Equipment and Big D Energy.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party, it's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking, and the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Let me tell you about Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. That's right. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. I was just there yesterday in Ferndale at the store there, located on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile, looking at those Buicks and GMCs, looking beautifully. Very good. They offer the same great service that customers have come to know and trust. If you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been on Michigan Avenue for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want, all GM brands under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Together, let's drive.
And come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for your opportunity to win the trip of your dreams, an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That's right, no expense spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Hey, Ryan, I think you were a little unfair to LeBron James' comeback against Los Angeles Clippers yesterday. Just saying. The man's 38 years old, and he had 20 points in the fourth. That's tough.
I mean,
against the best team in the league.
No, yeah, I agree. I don't want to minimize it. I just have nothing. You
That's
know,
true.
like I have no interest in the NBA right now. And LeBron James, by the way, LeBron James may still be the best player in the league.
You know what, Ryan?
At 39 years old.
Second best behind Jokic, but definitely he's still in the conversation.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Jokic.
Take Jokic out the equation, yes. There's nobody better than LeBron right now. Night in, night out, there's no one better.
On both ends of the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't play defense. I shouldn't say that.
But no one does.
But last night, I did pop it on for a minute, and, he comes from out of nowhere. He gets a big block, right before the half, and you're like...
At 38, though.
This guy's still doing this. 39.
He's got that stuff they give the presidents, because you notice no presidents died before 96 years old. So whatever they're giving the presidents, LeBron's got that secret serum, too.
How you doing, everybody? Yeah, you're well. Yeah, it's all right. I was just... All right.
So are we.
Tom Mazaway, what do we got? Are we still waiting on Peaches?
Yeah, he's getting him on the phone as we
good.
speak.
Oh, very good. Okay, very good.
He'll be heading to Lakeland next week.
Very good.
Don't forget, his son is playing with the Red Wings.
That's right.
His other son coaches at St. Mary's.
Yep, very good.
It's all good.
Hey, we got him. Dan Petry, Peaches. It has been forever, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, there's been so many times that I've wanted to reach out to you too. I keep seeing the two of you and Braylon there on the Lions game day. Your little bit there and everything, and I always want to reach out and say hi, but just didn't do it.
Peaches, I think of you so. I think of you so much, and I have been meaning to do the same. So that is my fault, and I promise I'm not going to hesitate next time around. But Dan, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. 40 years since the Tigers have brought home a World Series. First of all, can you even believe it's that amount of time has passed since the glorious year of 1984?
Well, you're right. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary the end of August, which is always a great reunion, and very much looking forward to that. But you know what? It's still so fresh in my mind. The big difference is I look back now and think, oh my gosh, I was 25 years old instead of 65. And it's like, man, I was just a young pup, and just all the things that being young and entails, and just how different everything was, and all the life that has passed between then and now. But man, that every memory still is very much alive. And when we all get together, we rehash a lot of it, and guys bring up some things that maybe have slipped others' minds. So it's always a good time when we get together.
We're always looking for a comparison. Do you see any similarities? I mean, you guys all came in young together. Do you see any similarities to this era of Tigers baseball, where it seems like you've got some budding young stars, you've got some young pitchers on this staff? Do you see similarities between this new era that we're about to usher into with Tiger baseball and you guys when you came in the 70s and early 80s?
Well, I'll tell you the similarities that stand out to me are a lot of what Scott Harris has talked about. He wants to let the young guys develop, and he doesn't want to block the path to the major leagues by signing a free agent, a big-name free agent for several years. And then, that guy down in the minors who was drafted really high has been blocked. So, I think he's asking for a little bit of patience in doing that. The other thing is I see a lot of similarities in just how close this group is. They always talk about chemistry. I'm a big believer in chemistry. Jim Leland always used to say, I could care less about chemistry. Chemistry's a subject in school. He could care less. I just want good baseball players, but I'm a big believer in that, and I know that this current group of Tigers, they have it. So that's a couple of things that I see. And then also just in the 84 season, if you remember right, it was a group that all came up through the minor leagues together, but there were a couple of pieces missing, so they went out and they got Darrell Evans, a big bat and a big veteran. They went out and got Willie Hernandez at the right time. It ends up being Cy Young and MVP. Dave Bergman, guys like that were missing pieces that put everybody over the top. And that's kind of what I think the Tigers have done this year. Not saying they're going to win the World Series, but they surgically brought in guys, from the outside that they felt that could help this young team, but also help them hopefully win and see how far it takes them.
Talking to Dan Petry, Bally Sports Tigers analyst, and also World Series champion 1984. We spent a lot of time here talking about 84 and what a magical season it was. But I think now we're trying to focus on when's the next time we can win that division and then get into the playoffs and make some noise. For all the novice people out there, talk about why they should be excited for March 28th when the Tigers start the season against the Whitehawks, and then April 5th. Why should people be excited for the potential of bringing championships to this town, whether it's the division or whether it's even more?
Right, and I guess I'm just going to go out and say it. I'm just a fan like everybody else, and why I'm excited about this coming year. And I think it just has to do with, again, AJ and Scott Harris pumping the brakes a little bit and cautioning everybody, hey, wait a minute, we've got a really young team, so we're not sure kind of what the path of their development is. Is it going to be on a movement? Is it just straight across, or an upward movement, I should say? Are Spencer Torkelson, Riley Green, Kerry Carpenter, guys like that, are they going to continue to rise and get better and better? If they don't, and they just increase just a little bit, then you know what? They don't want to say, hey, we should go out and win the division this year. So there's a lot of things that could happen, but they may not happen. They've got a young pitching staff. They got, what's Matt Manning going to do? Casey Mize, is he going to rebound after surgery? Reese Olson, what's going to happen with him? The unknowns, I think, are what they're cautioning everybody about. But I know me, just looking at this team, it's like I would be very disappointed if it wasn't a 500 team. Now, a lot of the experts don't see it that way. They still see it as a 78-win team, much like last year. But I believe in this young core, and I believe in the moves, the 5 guys that they brought in from the outside to help out that young core, and that's why I'm excited. I hope it leads to at least a 500 and a division title, but there's just too many of those unknowns that we have to wait to see if it plays out, and that's what the fun is about a full season, is how is this development and all the things I just mentioned, how is that all going to play out?
Hey, Dan, it's Maz. Thanks for coming on with us. I wanted to ask you about, obviously, 84, the great start, one of the greatest starts in baseball history, and you guys basically coasted to the end and did your job in the playoffs. This team, it gets off slow. How important is a quick start? And last year they owned the AL Central. I mean, they dominated their division, but they lost terribly to the AL East. What do you think on both of those fronts coming into this season?
Yeah, I think they've addressed that too. They've talked about, hey, we've gotten off to brutal starts the last few years, and we can't do that. They finished strong, back in 21 and 23, but I think they're saying, okay, we've got to figure out a way where we do get off to a good start. And, hey, look, at major league players, but, I mean, you're starting off against the White Sox. They're very much in a rebuilding mode. You go in there and take care of business. And I believe they go to the Mets. How good are they going to be? They've got some problems too.
Oh, yeah.
And then they open up against the A's, which certainly is a team that is in all kinds of flux with their, are they going to be in Vegas? Where the heck are they going to be? And what stadium are they going to be playing in? They're a rebuilding ball club and everything. So everything is ripe for the pickings. Last year they started off in Tampa and then went to Houston, So, yeah. I mean, it was a tough way to start. So I think that they've definitely addressed that and have everything in mind is, okay, how are we going to get off to a fast start? And that's a key. And you mentioned it, in 1984, you can't get off to a faster start than we did.
Not at all. I mean, that was amazing. And hasn't been done since. This team really just needs to get rolling early, and they got the teams to beat to do that, as you said. What is your take on Riley Green this year. Comes off a Tommy John surgery on his non-throwing elbow. And I know he had a couple of hits the other day, which is good. He's a great fielder. Parker Meadows is going to be a terrific center fielder. How do you like the shape of that outfield for the Tigers?
Yeah, I think they're still trying to figure out what Riley is going to do, if he's going to play left field or right field, how that's all going to shake out. And that'll be another thing that's interesting to follow. He got hurt playing left field last year. Kerry Carpenter is a guy that, is another one that kind of showed that he's not, he probably has some way to go as far as hitting left-handed pitching, but he didn't embarrass himself. So he might be the right fielder. And certainly Mark Canha, who they're just an on-base machine and one of those veteran guys that they're hoping that can help out this young group and help them continue to rise a little bit faster than just doing it on their own. So I know that's the way the outfield looks to be shaping up. And boy, you're right about Parker Meadows. If he can hit just a little bit, which I believe he can, but he's another guy, are they going to figure him out? And he's going to have to make some adjustments once they figure out how they're going to attack him. But I just think the biggest thing for Riley Green is stay healthy. And you know what? They've devised a plan on that too, just by him putting on some weight and just trying to be maybe taking it a little bit easier on him too, and not playing him in the outfield quite as much, and maybe letting him DH a little bit.
Talking to Dan Petry from Bally Sports, Detroit Tigers analyst, in my opinion, the absolute best analyst in the state of Michigan right now. Dan, we love your expertise on the broadcast and everything else like that. Let me ask you, you mentioned Mark Canha being a little bit of a veteran presence in that young Tigers lineup. What about a guy like J.D. Martinez, just floating out there? Maybe you see if he fits. They could use a DH. He seems like he would be the perfect guy to come back to Detroit. And we see what these veterans are doing with the Detroit Red Wings. I mean, you bring in Jeff Petry, you bring in Patrick Kane, you bring in Alex DeBrincat. I mean, you're getting a firsthand look at what happens when you mix some veteran guys amongst all this young talent. I think a guy like J.D. Martinez, I'm going to ask you specifically about the Wings in a second, but I think J.D. Martinez is a no-brainer slam dunk. What do you say?
I mean, everybody loves J.D. Martinez. And again, I just think now, where did he have? I think it was San Francisco. I think San Francisco threw a contract at him, probably for some pretty good money. But that's a tough place to hit in, and I'm thinking he's probably like, I don't know, man. That's may not be a great ballpark for me to hit in. And how many at bats would J.D. Martinez take away from, let's say, Spencer Torkelson, who they want to DH a little bit more, and maybe not play so much first base? How many at-bats would he take away from a Kerry Carpenter, who they say, you know what, maybe this is a good time for him to DH and not play the outfield? Gio Urshela was a great signing at, $1.5 million. So I agree with you. Everybody loves J.D. Martinez. He's a big name, a star, could come in here and certainly do a great job. It's just, I think, again, they're looking at the big picture and saying, how many at-bats would he take away from our young guys that we want to try to develop? And I just think that's where the dilemma is in whether or not they're making the decision to sign him or not.
All right, I brought up the Wings. How much fun are you having? How much fun is Jeff Petry having?
It's been really, really fun. I mean, they're amazing. I mean, and like you said, it is a veteran group. You look at it, but it's just, they're so deep too. They just, I used to look at some of these teams, and say, well, wait a minute. I mean, gosh, how do they have all these players, and you got 4 lines that they keep rolling, and they've all got really, really good players, and you've got 7 strong defensemen, and look at what Grand Rapids is doing down there. I mean, they're on a 17 or 16 game point streak, and so not only is the big club doing really well, but they're stocking things up for the future too. So everything looks really, really good. I hope they can keep up with it. When Jeff was lucky enough to be traded over here, I said, yeah, that's all good that he's here and playing locally, but if they don't make the playoffs, I mean, it doesn't make any difference. And so far, so good. I just hope they can keep it up.
Hey, Dan, I got a broadcast question for you. You got some new faces and new names at Bally and on the radio, back and forth. Jason Benetti also comes over. He's going to be the lead play-by-play guy. Tell us about what your role is going to be this year. I mean, we want more Dan. That's what we want.
Yeah, that's so nice of you guys to say. And you know what? I'm mainly pre and post. I love doing pre and post game. And when they hired Jason Benetti, I was fortunate enough to work one game with him in Toronto for Peacock, and we had a great time, and it went really well. And when they hired him, I said, man, I do mainly pre and post. I would just love the opportunity to do a series or two with you, and that's really what I'm going to do. I've got like 3 series in the first half. That's all I know my schedule. Where I'm going to be able to work with Jason, which is going to be a blast. But yeah, I'm mainly pre and post game, which I just love. There's so many great things about preparing for the pregame show, much like you would prepare for a game. Is like, okay, what am I getting ready to see? What's going to happen today? Who are they facing on the mound today? What kind of moves is AJ? It's really fascinating to me. And then, of course, analyzing and breaking the game down after it's all over. So any chance, a couple of series I can work with Jason, that's just fine with me.
Hey, I'm a good Dan Dickerson's a good friend of mine. I'm a radio guy, and I know how Dan feels about you. And we all probably would think Dan and Dan on the radio would have been absolutely fantastic. Your choice. If you would give it a choice, would you prefer radio or television?
I got to tell you that, I mean, obviously, I love both, and just being involved with the ball club. I'm just so lucky to be able to do that. But, really, Bally's was the one, and I'm starting my 6th year. They were the ones really that, kind of brought me back in the mix of things. So I think I need to be loyal to them and say, everything that they've done for me.
Sold.
I gotta stay loyal.
I know. I was just asking you what you preferred. That's all.
Yeah, he prefers TV.
Yes, I got it. I got it.
Hey, Dan, we can't thank you enough, buddy. I love you, and we'll see you soon here. And let's stay in touch here, okay?
Always a pleasure, Dan.
Yeah, you know what? I'm so glad you guys reached out. Like I said, it's been a while since we've talked, and hopefully I'll see you guys around the ballpark, okay?
You got it, absolutely. The great Dan Petry, everybody. Bally Sports, Tigers analyst, and, of course, 1984 World Series champion. I cannot believe, Tom Mazaway, 40 years since the Tigers last won a World Series. And you talk about all that great Tigers baseball, Braylon. Decade plus, really, of, Jim Leland and from 06 to 16.
And it's crazy for you. You have a little better understanding. Here's where that 4 age difference between you and I. When it happened, you were 5.
Oh, I was. So I totally remember.
And exactly when it happened, I was 1. So I'm running around in diapers somewhere trying to figure out what the hell everybody was celebrating. But just to see years after that, to not have another one, man, you know what it meant. Like, I wasn't in that moment, man, but I know what that moment meant. Just to see how close we were and how people hang on to those, those close moments, like playing against the Red Sox or losing to the Giants.
Hey, I remember that World Series. I was in New Jersey.
Excuse me.
It was a Sunday night, Sunday late afternoon game. I was watching. I think the Chargers and Jets were on prior to that game, and then came NBC, and they had the broadcast of that '84 game. I was kind of, back in the day, I was rooting for the Padres to make it interesting. But let's face it, that should have been a Cubs Tigers World Series.
They're up 3-1. The
I
Cubs
know.
were.
And
Padres.
Leon Durham makes that error, and
Part of
that's
the curse.
That is it. The curse continues, man. How great would that have been?
Till 2016.
You know what? I don't think it would have been all that great. We have some of the best images in our sports lives in the history of baseball. He don't want to walk you.
Yep.
Kirk Gibson, and there she goes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, that doesn't happen if they're playing the Cubs. Yep. I mean, this lives in lore.
Sports infamy.
I mean,
Kurt Bavacqua with his arm up. Kurt Bavacqua.
But there is one devil's advocate to that, Ryan Ermanni. It's Detroit versus Chicago, though.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I understand, but I mean, I just think of like, I mean, come on.
He might have done that to the Cubs.
Destiny is destiny. It just would have happened to the Cubs instead.
Big Rick Sutcliffe could have been on the hill against the Tigers.
Unbelievable.
What was that name again?
Rick Sutcliffe.
Sutcliffe.
Big Red. I love Big Sutcliffe.
All right, guys, we'll take a break. More coming up next, but first a message from Swiss.
That's right. There is good news and there is bad news. The bad news is I'm running the board for this show. No, just kidding. The bad news is insurance rates are going up through the roof across the board in Michigan. The good news is that Swiss Insurance is here to help. Right now, more than ever, it's critical for you to have your insurance reviewed, and Swiss is going to make sure your carrier does not slip in extra fees or raise deductibles. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today or visit SwissINS.com and tell them Woodward Sports sent you. JB, what you got?
Hey, you know what? Planet Fitness is your home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and I mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym with tons of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. Now, you get all of this with no commitment for only $10 a month. But remember,
only $10?
Yes, only $10. But remember, there are more than 50 Planet Fitness is near you and in the Metro Detroit area and thousands more throughout the world. So find your local Planet Fitness today, or as always, check them out online at planetfitness.com.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Big Boy Seafood Fest is sailing in with a fresh catch of favorites. Dive into fish and chips, our new palm-crusted cod, perfectly fried clam shrimp platter, or a delicious fish sandwich. Try our new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to our popcorn shrimp, our all-new fried pickles, shrimp alfredo, or shrimp stir-fry. Experience all the sea has to offer every Friday night with our all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. Every day is a fish fry, only at Big Boy.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Hey, gang, head over to woodwardsports.com. Click on that shop tab. New Detroit sports wearables, comfortable, affordable, anything, hats, hoodies, tees, everything in between. You've got some polos as well, all for an affordable price, very comfortable. Get your gear right now. Get ready for the spring and summer months as well. woodwardsports.com. Click on the shop tab.
back here, being absolutely bucolic.
Oh, who's behind you there?
Well, who do you think?
Oh, Tom Mazaway.
It's Tom Mazaway. You got a new job now, Tom?
Oh, what are you doing in there, Tom?
I'm hanging.
Oh, you're hanging in there. All right. We swapped out Tom Mazaway. We upgraded. We upgraded the Maz chair. We've got our WSN Injury Insider, Dr. Jeff Pierce from the Michigan Sports and Spine Center. Doc, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm real good. What's with the weather?
Oh, man. Dude, I love this, and I'll tell you why.
First of all, get you sick.
Listen, we know it's February, so it's going to be cold. But at least it's
leap
not,
year February.
It's leap year February. At least it's not like
miserable
30 days in a row of 20 degrees.
And
at least you know you've got some warm weather right around the corner. 2 days from now, it's going to be in the 60s. What's better than that?
2 days ago, it was 72.
Look at that.
I was kayaking.
Oh, my gosh.
We barbecued, and we also had a little bonfire outside. But in that bonfire and being outside, the weather dropped unnoticeably because I'm outside, I'm playing catch. It turns into 58 degrees when it was 70 when you started the bonfire. So I started to sweat, went inside, took a shower, came out, here it was wet. And that's why I didn't come to work yesterday, because I got sick. So my dumb ass was part of a lot of other people that get mixed up in the cold and the warm weather. So I like the warm weather around Ermanni. You just got to be smart about how you handle it.
Doc, I was thinking about you the other day. I'm at Disney World, and we're getting into it in a minute, but I was at Disney World. I did 8 miles one day, 7 miles one day, another 8 miles another day, and 6 miles the last day. And I'm thinking to myself, my body hurt so bad.
From walking.
Came back looking good.
But it's just, it kind of highlights going from 0 to 60 with nothing. That's not that great for you, is it?
So is your message, if you're going to Disney, you got to train before you go?
Yes. Or at least to stay somewhat active, so when you do these things, you're not killing yourself. I couldn't get out of bed. My knees were, it was terrible. My back, my knees.
We need to get you in a program.
Yes.
We need a program for you. We'll be happy to set that up for you.
My goodness, Doc. But is that a thing?
It's a thing. There's a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people that can't go 4 days in a row to Disney because they can't afford it. But
let me tell you,
I gave them ulterior. If you can't get to Disney, you can go to an off Disney situation where you don't have to pay.
Trust me, that's a one and done trip.
You just go to the water park, let the kids run around, you'll be fine.
That's a one and done.
No, honestly, it is conditioning. I mean, I can't believe some of these people. I mean, and there's the walk of life there too. I mean, you have all Mid-America there, and I bet you a lot of people are having the same issues you did.
Yeah, no doubt.
So did you have a good time?
Had a great time, man. Let me tell you. I had a great time because the kids had a great time.
Yeah.
I could take it or leave it. I don't know if we go back, we might go back one time just for like a couple of days.
There's some Disney lifers too out there.
I know it. Bray, you had something you wanted to address?
Yeah, well, in terms of we're trying to find something to talk about. I think something really interesting came up. A lot of the players around the NFL were talking about how the training room has been during the football season, saying that they didn't have enough trainers on staff for independent, like one-on-one rehab, prehab, or one-on-one things. There's a lot of guys that are saying they're doing ice over here, while they're trying to stim over here, or they're trying to do ultraviolet light over here, while they're trying to massage and get a guy ready for practice and post-practice as well. And I think you're seeing a lot more injuries in the NFL. Now, I'm not directly trying to correlate that, but I'm asking, if players feel that way, if guys are going out there without having that one-on-one treatment, are they really getting that time in? I remember being a player, but you feel much better when you get that one-on-one time in if you have a severe, or if you have something that's just nagging before practice, after practice, on off days. If I got to share time with guys, with someone on prehab or rehab or whatever, I'm going to feel a little bit neglected, and I feel like maybe throughout the course of the week, I'm not putting in my all to make sure that my injury is 100% where it needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more guys putting pressure on the training room.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a lot more injuries. You're more aware of it. Some guys will let stuff go. Everybody's trying to be ahead of the curve. Right now, is there a reason that there's a missing trainer? There's a lot of interns that are there that are willing to do it.
Not trying to spend money.
Huh?
Cutting corners would be one thought.
I don't know if I can blame the NFL for cutting corners. It's more of, people being available at that level. I think there's more demand in the locker room, and we've talked about it before. A lot of guys aren't getting their treatment in the locker room. They're avoiding the locker room because of the politics in the, now that the season's over, we can talk about it a little bit more, but there's political reasons why these guys aren't getting treated in the locker room. They don't want the trainer to know that they got a bum knee. They could be in contract here. There's a lot of other things. These guys are seeking a lot of treatment outside. And like I talked about, especially now that we're in the off season, these guys are doing a lot more stuff. And I wanted to push into the biologics of what's going on. And a lot of these guys are seeking out treatment. We're putting together a program where we're going to have an off-season recovery, where you're looking at getting the right massage, evaluate them. A lot of times these guys have so many injuries, they create muscle imbalance they're not aware of. And if we do a full physical, like an exit physical, which you skipped a couple times, I heard.
This is true. This is very true. I feel like I was healthy enough, man.
You need to have set. Like I talked about the Lions last week. These guys have to be ready for their season with a month less of getting recovered.
And that recovery, Doc, is so important. And I think there's always advancements in technology, always advancements in medicine. And just sitting up here and doing this, it feels like guys come back from injury faster than ever before. And there's a reason for that, though, isn't there?
Well, I've always referred to the secret cocktails in the locker room.
Yeah.
There is. I mean, what we're doing with biologics, we're not, it's cutting edge recovery in sports medicine and hair restoration. It's just covering so many things. If we start talking about the biologics, we've talked about PRP, we've talked about stem cell. Those things are advances in recovery. I mean, I've always said the best recovery machine there is your human body. I mean, you think about it. You cut yourself, that regenerates. It closes the cut itself. There's so much going on inside the body that we don't understand. And we're just tapping it a little bit with our talks about peptides and exosomes and, the stem cell and the non-differentiated cells. How do they go? It doesn't grow a tooth if you get an injection in your knee. It's matching the cells out of that area. Like we talk about a meniscus. We talk about, the exosomes, which is a big thing, which these guys are in from out of town right here. What's going on with exosomes? I mean, it's a healing. It's, for the generic part of it, it's an inflammation. It takes away the inflammation in the body. So we look at all professional players, they would all benefit from the PRP, the stem cell, the whole biologic system. So we're talking about recovering. This is all creeping into the locker room. Right. It's creeping into the recovery. How does LeBron James do what he does? There's a secret there that we don't know. And the NBA we don't know, but he's superhuman when you get down to it.
It's true. You're talking about a guy last night, 39 years old, had 19 points in the fourth quarter to help his team come back against the best team in the NBA. You talk about peptides, you talk about the exomes, you talk about the stem cells research. How fast can we get these things approved so they can be ushered into the collegiate level, to the high school level, to become necessary for the NFL level? Because there are individuals that are taking them, and they are extending their careers. They are playing full seasons. Meanwhile, there are more injuries than now. And there's more information, there's more things, and there's more things you can do to help yourself create the longevity of a career. How can we get these things implemented so that we don't have all these injuries and you're missing the best players in basketball, the best players in hockey, the best players in football?
I mean, you're talking about the FDA. They're trying to keep the public safe, but there's politics going on out there that we don't want to mess with. Can you guys do whatever you want? At the end of the day, you're going to research and do what you need to do. We're not cutting corners. We're not doing something wrong. It's not anabolic steroids. It's human. It's coming from your body, which it's now. I call it the whole foods of medicine. It's organic. A lot of stuff. When we talk about PRP, it's coming from your body. Now you're talking about things with placentas and it's too complicated to get into. But the simple part of it is that there's exosomes that they're at 1 billion cells, 10 of million cells. It's at a high cell count concentration, and then the problem is some people are not understanding it, and they're going for the quick buck, and it's not what it's about. There's a lot of science behind it. There's a lot of science that's out there that's being ignored. It's taking time. I mean, you've never heard of exosomes a year ago. Now you're hearing it everywhere.
Right.
When I was the first one to start with PRP and stem cell. I mean, Tim Duncan, he credits me for 2 more years of his career because we talked about PRP for his knees. You saw him always wear knee braces. At the end of his career, he hardly wore knee braces. And, that equates to a lot of money there. But what we're doing here, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're talking about it. We're talking about it more and more. It's becoming more mainstream. When you say, how do we get it? There's schools that have already approved for PRP and stem cell, and at high university levels. So it's there. I mean, you're seeing regenerative medicine growing on a daily basis, and we do it at Michigan Sports and Spine. I mean, that's what we're doing. I've always prided myself, even as I'm getting in my later years, always be at the cutting edge of treatment, and this is it. I think right now you're seeing it with peptides and exosomes, and we may get in trouble a little bit by me talking about it, but I'm not. It doesn't save the world, but it does. It's helping a hell of a lot.
And sniper gun on you.
Yeah, no, and I think an important point to make too is this: that these treatments are not only available to professional athletes. I mean, they're available to everybody, me, you, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to a friend today. She's like, yeah, my brother's out of Chicago. He's doing this peptide thing. His mom was freaking out because he's got a needle. There's things we can do that are acceptable, and he's seeing the results. I mean, you're not going to have people pay what they need to pay if there's not results and science behind it. And there is a lot of science behind it. You just have to go to the right doctors. You don't go, I'm not going to pick on you, but you want to research who you're getting treated by. Okay, there's cosmetic exosomes that are, for almost everybody, but when you're talking about medical for sports injuries, we're seeing a lot of positive results that we're you're gonna, and a year from now, it's going to be very common. You'll probably see it in a lot of the locker rooms.
Give me a quick Tim Duncan story.
Oh, TD.
You mentioned him. I got to follow up. I got to follow up.
I got love for San Antonio. I got to give a shout out for Gervin. Gervin was honored last Friday by the Pistons.
Iceman cometh.
Yes, and it was great because I got to spend some time with Cunningham, and to be honest, great guy, unbelievably nice, respectful. He's in the presence of Jalen Rose and Gervin, and I watched him. He's not going to like this. I watched him follow Gervin around so he could get a photo with him, and it was really
humbling,
special. It was humbling to him, and for my son to see K come, like all the Pistons were there, and they were like, "Iceman's here." I mean, like everybody's got a story. The biggest story comes from Derek Coleman. So anyhow, shout out to Gervin. He was great friend. He's been 25 years with me, and that's how I get to Duncan. So. The Duncan funny story, people don't know about Duncan. His passion during his run of NBA championships, you'll never guess what he loved to do.
Paintball.
You got it.
No kidding.
Paintball.
Paintball was his thing.
Really?
Steven Jackson put him on paintball. And Duncan got injured the first time they played. And they lied about it. Am I correct?
You're right. I love that history.
Sorry, I stole the
I thought I'd give him by you guys.
Over here. Oh, man.
Me and Maz know all the random stuff. All the random stuff.
Oh, my gosh.
I forgot I think it was his ankle.
It was his ankle, but he had welts on his body, too.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And then I got to go to the San Antonio Training Center when they were winning, so it was the most beautiful facility. It was one of the first ones. And he was gaming. He was always gaming or playing paintball or in basketball. That was it.
Unbelievable.
And I still remember.
I think Kobe might have put him on the gaming. Kobe's a big gamer. Not Kobe, but Tiger.
He was. Anyhow, we became good friends. We traveled. I traveled with San Antonio overseas, and I just like, what's with the knees? What are you doing? He goes, I think I'm almost done. And we talked about the PRP. Like, what is that? And the trainers there and the doctors there weren't forward thinking. So it took about a year and a half. I wanted him to come here and do it with me, but there's guidelines he has to follow for his insurance and his contract. So we finally convinced him, and it was very successful for him.
That's great stuff.
Let alone his Adidas contract renewed too.
Hopefully,
so there was two big contracts that renewed on that.
Oh man,
did he break y'all? Did he give you a little slice on the side?
He answers my phone. Put it that way. That's about it.
Answers your call. That's right. Hey Doc, we really appreciate it. Our WSN Injury Insider, Dr. Jeff Pierce, the Michigan Sports and Spine Center. Give him a call, 248-426-9944. MichiganSportsAndSpine.com. Dr. Pierce, thanks, my friend.
Always a pleasure.
Good to see you guys.
We appreciate it. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Tom Maswell will be back in the chair. We'll close it out. Lots to get to. Go around the NFL. Wings and Pistons in their next game. We'll talk about those coming up next. But first, a message from Pete.
That's right, boys. You know, when you see that black and yellow sign out front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
That's right. It's a new year. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work, and by people who are proven to care. Call 1-800-
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today and tell them Woodward Sports sent ya.
Good.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Big Boy Seafood Fest is sailing in with a fresh catch of favorites. Dive into fish and chips, our new palm-crusted cod, perfectly fried clam shrimp platter, or a delicious fish sandwich. Try our new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to our popcorn shrimp, our all-new fried pickles, shrimp alfredo, or shrimp stir-fry. Experience all the sea has to offer every Friday night with our all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. Every day is a fish fry, only at Big Boy.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Hey guys, it's Maz. Give your pet the best. Do not settle for less. That's why Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available, and they've got curbside delivery if you need it. Give your pet the best. Do not settle for less. It's PremierPetSupply.com. And I know my pet loves to play Jack Labrador, and so will you. And if you're teaching your kids the old rock, paper, scissors game, well, you're cheating them. You got to get the rock, paper, scissors with this game. Jack Labrador. 2 new symbols. Ryan, what are those 2 symbols?
Labrador.
That's right. 2 new symbols and a 3-point play, a franchise-changing 3-point play. You get this Champions deck, comes with a deck of cards and a player's chip. 3 more games you could play on here. Motor City Showdown, Spell My Name in Pink Slip. 15 minutes to play this game, 2 players or more, and it's only $20 at jacklabrador.gg. Click on that code today and tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
How about that?
2 quick things. One, Tom Maswell, you read that Premier Pet. Guess what? I will be doing a Premier Pet commercial.
Oh, get out of here.
Next Wednesday for the network, so I'm very excited about that. As you know, I have a thing and an affection for dogs. And also, I told you that Caitlin Clark was going to be cold 2.5 years ago.
2 years ago.
She's 18 points away from Pistol Pete Maravich.
Yeah, and she's gonna break that record on Sunday on Fox 2 in Detroit at 1:00. Caitlin Clark's basketball games, when she is on television, outrate what the men do.
It's not
if
even
I
close.
ever told you that a woman's college basketball game would outrate a men's college basketball game being played at the same time, you would tell me that I was crazy. She has come along and changed the way basketball is viewed, I think. I really do. You could have all the Sue Birds and the Swin Cash and
this
Diana Taurasi.
This girl is special.
She's completely special.
Steph Curry-esque.
Yes.
And that's exactly where I'm going. We were trying to figure out
Rebecca Lobo. I mean,
Lisa
it goes
Leslie,
back to Lisa
Candace
Leslie.
Parker, a lot of Ivory, whose
We're not
son
tuning in
is
for that.
Jaden
Yeah.
Ivey. At the end of the day, it was about how can you do something that was just as electric as the men. Obviously, it's 1 to 2 to 3 women that can dunk. They can't dunk in fast breaks, so that's not exciting. Well, insert Steph Curry shooting from half court. Insert Caitlin Clark who says, "Oh, I can shoot from half court. I may not dunk, but I can shoot from half court." And man, when you watch it, dribble up, pull up, like she's in the face, ISO, step back, like she plays it like Steph Curry plays it. So it's fun to watch.
Two games left. She plays number 2 Ohio State on Sunday.
Who they lost to early in the
and
year.
then she's got one more game on the road. So she's got 2 games to break the record.
And really the tournament, too, by the way.
Yeah,
You know?
But you know what? Keep in mind, Pete didn't have a 3-point shot.
Meanwhile, she's broke the Division I record with 156 made threes this season.
Let's keep that in
more
mind.
than the men as well.
The Pete Maravich.
The rules change.
I know. Pete Maravich was amazing.
Then say that about the home run record. Say that about the
NBA record.
NBA record. Say that about any statistical record in football.
I get
They
it.
played 14
More
games. Well, now
playoff
they play
games.
17
I know. I
games.
Some
get
guys
it.
that have the 3-point
You're
line.
right. The record is the record. You know,
The 3-point play is quite a bit.
It's a game changer.
It's a game changer.
Yeah. Okay, very good.
So there you go.
LeBron definitely shoots way more threes than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
No question about it.
Guys, today is a leap year.
It is.
Leap day. So I thought maybe we could have some fun with the top 10 moments in leap day history. Starting with 1940.
Okay.
So I just figured
That's number 1. I just wanted to know.
Okay. Starting with 1 then,
That's
because
cool.
I want to keep it in yearly order. All right. 1940, Detroit's Cecil Tiny Thompson becomes the first goaltender in NHL history to play 40 or more games for 12 straight seasons. The Red Wings
Christ.
lose at Toronto 3-1. Great job, whoever did this. My goodness.
Batman.
JB.
Good job, JB.
You're welcome. No problem, man. Anytime.
1948, Lawson Little earns his first tournament victory since his U.S. Navy discharge, capturing the St. Petersburg Open by 3 strokes over Bobby Locke, the last golfer to win a PGA Tour event on a leap year day.
My only question, was it an honorable discharge?
Oh, I'm sure it was. How about 1956? The Cleveland Indians franchise is sold for nearly $4 million. Former player and team general manager Hank Greenberg.
How about that?
Part of the new ownership group. How about
Former
that?
Tiger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hall of Fame.
1964, Cincinnati's Jerry Lucas and Oscar Robertson combined for a rare 40-40 performance as the Royals, the Cincinnati Royals, beat the Philadelphia 76ers 117-114. The NBA MVP, Oscar Robertson, 43 points. And Rookie of the Year, Jerry Lucas, had 40 rebounds.
How about Mr. Double-Double there? That's right. Oscar Robertson, the
Those
true
two were called the
double-double man.
The Big O.
And Jerry Lucas, later to be a New York Knick, won a couple championships with them. And a brilliant mind. He's unbelievably
brilliant. In 1964, North Carolina high school basketball teams play to a 56-54 final in 13 overtimes.
I just have one question.
Yes.
How do you play 13 overtimes and only have 56
There
points?
you go. That's the story.
It's the one question.
That's the story. 1972, future baseball Hall of Famer Hank Aaron became the first player to earn $200,000 annually. He signed a 3-year deal with the Atlanta Braves after one of his best seasons, hitting .327, 47 homers, and 118 RBIs. I did not know that. Hank Aaron, the first baseball player to reach $200,000 annually. Very cool.
Well deserved.
Another quick Hank Aaron fact is he signed a deal 3 games before he broke the record, 700, it was
715.
With 715, he signed a deal with Coca-Cola 3 games prior. If he would have signed it after, Coca-Cola wouldn't have gave him 0.
Wow.
Because the chase was done.
1976 American driver Richard Petty wins the only Winston Cup race on a leap day, taking the Carolina 500 at Rockingham by 2 laps over Darrell Waltrip. A couple more for you. How about 1980 future Hockey Hall of Famer right wing Gordie Howe scores in the third period to become the first NHL player to score 800 career goals as the Hartford Whalers beat St. Louis 3-0 at the Springfield Civic Center.
Save the whale. Oh, I love that whale.
Finally, 1992, Boston's Ray Bourque becomes just the third defenseman in NHL history to score 1,000 career points with a goal and 2 assists in Boston's 5-5 tie with the Washington Capitals at the Boston Garden. How cool is that for a look back?
So nothing has happened in the better part of 32 years?
I went back and I looked. So, there really wasn't anything special. I mean, this happens every 4 years. So,
that's true.
In 2000, there were, Michigan State beat Maryland. I was looking for something, 4 years ago in 2020, just prior to the sports and the world shutting down for COVID. Nothing really happened as well. So
it makes a lot of sense.
Good digging, right? Good digging, and great job by JB.
Absolutely, JB really for the win. I really didn't anticipate anybody doing that, so I really appreciate your effort there on that, JB.
No problem.
Very cool, man.
I got something for you guys.
Please.
We got the Red Wings and Islanders tonight. Like we said, Red Wings are going for 7 in a row. They've got 6 in a row for the first time in a bunch of years. They win there, but I'll tell you, the downside of tonight is they are going to unveil a patch on their jersey for the first time in their history. Let's run that for everybody.
For the Red Wings, perseverance is more than just a word. It's a way of life. We're forward-looking, community-driven, and committed to uplifting the spirit of Detroit. When the road is rough, we're not afraid to roll up our sleeves and do the grunt work. But we can't do it alone. Proudly serving the red and white faithful in Detroit and across Michigan, Priority shares our passion to impact, innovate, and inspire on and off the ice. United, we're the wheels that move Detroit forward and the wings that help it rise to any occasion. Woven into the chests and hearts of our players, this message is a reminder of who we are and the legacy we've built. Welcome to Hockeytown, Priority.
Priority is a garbage company.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is not Priority Health.
Priority.
This is Priority Waste Management.
It is a garbage company. Tony Soprano will be very, very happy about this. The only good thing about this is the patch is red and white and not yellow like their trucks. So I guess mostly it'll blend in.
I got a hockey term, though. Remember this is for my Mighty Ducks fans out there. Mighty Ducks 3, the coach that takes over the JV team, now he's coaching the Ducks. Remember, he says you got to clean up the trash around the goal, and he turned all the players on the team, including the goalies, into great trash defenders, so they were able to get out clean, and they were better defensemen. So maybe this will spell well for them. This is one of the Red Wings' Achilles heel was a lot of goals scored in the last 5 years. They've gotten better. So maybe this Priority, man, maybe they have a little of that Red Wings Mighty Ducks feel to it, and they'll become better defensive
I guess Chico's bail bonds were not available.
Doesn't bother me at all.
Exactly.
Doesn't bother me at all.
It's red and white. They're winning. Let's keep it going.
Listen, it's just the way you have to adapt.
Yeah.
It is the way it is.
Tigers have Meyer on their jerseys.
And the Red Wings have Meyer on their helmets.
I know.
What's the difference between the Red Wings wearing Meyer on the
look
helmets
at the
and
European
Priority
teams.
on the sweater?
European teams have it all over
their
kits,
as they call it. Remember, we said this was the one. I think the first was NBA when we started. We were talking about the NBA, and then it was baseball. We said the Red Wings, like hockey, was the one uniform of the 4 majors where you can't mess with the jersey. But here we are.
Hey, I got one more for you in the leap day. Here, the last one.
I got a good one, too.
Ready? 2 days after being traded from the Los Angeles Kings, Wayne Gretzky made his debut for the St. Louis Blues on Leap Day in 1996. The Great One scored a goal in the game against the Vancouver Canucks.
Ooh,
there you go.
Look at
there
that.
You go.
It's a good one. What's yours, Bray?
Bob Beamon broke the world record in the long jump on leap year day.
Was that 72 or no 68?
68.
68?
No, it was earlier than that. 68 was Mexico, I think.
Hey, Pistons host the Cavs tomorrow.
Very good.
Cavs are looking good lately, by the way.
Cavs are really good.
Happy birthday to Tayshaun Prince.
Max Strus hit the game winner from
that was amazing.
That was 2 nights ago.
How about Tayshaun? Tayshaun is a leap baby.
Oh, this is true.
How about that?
Reminds me of my little brother Bailey a lot.
Unbelievable. All right, guys, breaking us out of here. What a day today. Great day today.
Another great show, Dan. Appreciate you for coming on. Also, shout out to his son playing with the Detroit Red Wings as they go for 7 in a row first time since 2012. Look, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. We're finding material, but we're doing a damn good job of it, man. We appreciate you listening. You keep your ears and eyes open, and we'll give you something to listen and look at. From my man JB, Peace by Vec, Tom Mazaway, Ryan Ermanni, I am Braylon Edwards, and we are Ermanni and Edwards with Maz.
We'll see you.
See you tomorrow.